a statewide, nationally accredited program that provides no-cost, confidential business coaching and training services. Whether you're just getting started or are ready to expand, we have the tools, resources, and expertise to help you succeed. We're part of a national network, America's SBDC, with over 1,000 centers across the nation. To learn more about how the Kentucky SBDC can serve you, please visit KentuckySBDC.com or email us at info@KentuckySBDC.com. You can also reach us by calling 888-414-7232. Thank you for joining today's webinar. The chat feature is available for you to ask questions and interact with today's speaker. Please take a moment to introduce yourself and where you are watching from today.
Hey everyone, thank you all for joining us today. My name is Kevin Yates. I'm with the Kentucky Small Business Development Center. I wish we were speaking to you all on better circumstances today, but as you all know, our state and our region is still struggling quite a bit with tornado relief. So today we have the Small Business Administration doing a webinar for us about the small business or about the tornado relief options that are available. First off, I wanted to start out and give kind of our sponsors a shout out that make this webinar possible. That's the United States Small Business Administration, the University of Kentucky, Western Kentucky University, Murray State University, the Bowling Green Area Chamber of Commerce, Lake Barkley Chamber of Commerce, the Logan County Economic Alliance for Development, and also the Mayfield and Graves County Chamber of Commerce. And next, you know, we do have coaches across the state in all of the affected areas and the areas that weren't affected. We'll be available at the end as a panel for Q&A, but I just wanted to introduce these coaches to you now. We have Michelle Kors, that's in the Bowling Green office, Aaron Harnett, that is in Paducah, Jamie Johnson in the Owensboro Center, and then also Patricia Crossman in our Elizabethtown office. And so that's enough for me today. I'll now introduce Tauheedah Mateen from the SBA that'll be going into depth about the options available for relief. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let me start to share my screen. Had a little practice before, everyone. So let me share that. And then I'm going into I'm sorry, y'all, I'm not used to doing this. So let me Is the slideshow already on there, or do I just close this? There we go. Everyone can see that okay? Moderators.
Hey, Tauheedah, if you want to hit that slideshow and then from beginning.
Okay.
I think that will make it pull up a little better for everyone.
It looks like the full screen to me right now.
Okay. Can everybody see that okay? Out there, if you could put in the chat whether you're having any issues, but you can, it should be fine.
Okay, see, this is why I needed an IT handy. Do this when it's live. So let me go ahead and get started. If there's something that I can figure out during the presentation, I will change that. So thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you to our SBDC partners. We cannot do these disasters without partnering with you. So I do want to send a good shout out and a thank you to you all. The SBDCs in every disaster, every state, every city, every county are just a great asset to our operation and help us to accomplish what we need to accomplish during these devastating times. So let me just go ahead and hop right into it. First of all, the U.S. Small Business Administration, SBA Office of Disaster Assistance, we are available to provide low interest disaster loans to businesses of all sizes. private organizations, nonprofit organizations, homeowners, renters to repair and replace real estate, personal property, machinery and equipment, inventory, and business assets that have been damaged during, destroyed in a declared disaster. So right now, as Kevin mentioned, let me get that off my screen. As Kevin mentioned, these devastating storms, right now, this is a presidential declaration. And what that means is that in the FEMA presidential declarations for individual assistance, that means that FEMA is available for homeowners and renters. SBA disaster loans are for physical damages for businesses of any size, homeowners, renters, nonprofit organizations, some private organizations. Only in the primary counties is that physical damage available. In those contiguous counties, which are the counties that are next to those primary counties, those are the SBA economic injury disaster loans, and they are available in those declared counties, those contiguous counties and the physical counties.
Hey,
the primary
Tauheedah?
counties. Yes.
I don't think we're seeing the slide. There should be a button to resume slideshow at the top of
Resume share.
PowerPoint. Yeah, click that and see if that works.
Okay.
There we go. And so, yeah, perfect. Yeah, sorry about that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so let me back up. So this is what I just said about the SBA, you know, what we're here for. And then this is where I was right now, telling the difference between a physical disaster declaration and what's available, and the economic injury disaster loans available in the declared counties. So let me go to the next slide. Everyone can see that okay?
Yeah, it looks good now.
Okay. So this is just a map of the Kentucky declared counties. In those green counties, those are the primary counties, and that is loans available for businesses of any size that had physical damage, the nonprofit organizations, homeowners, and renters. Now, as I mentioned before, those contiguous counties are basically touching those primary counties. Those are the counties that the only eligibility is for businesses who suffered economic injury. That means if they had to close down for a week or a couple weeks, basically you keep paying the bills as if the disaster never happened. So I just want to go through that. I will mention it later on in the presentation as well. So you will get a copy of this presentation as well. So those green counties are where physical damage, homeowners, renters, nonprofit organizations, private organizations are eligible. And in the yellow, business owners are only eligible for economic injury disaster loans, as well as in those green counties as well. So it's like businesses get a two benefits. All right, this is another slide of the Kentucky Declaration. And as you can see, Kentucky, some of those contiguous counties go over into Illinois and Missouri and Tennessee because they are touching those primary counties, as I just mentioned before. SBA, the disaster does not get to pick which county line it's going over. So we do realize that the businesses may have other business that's coming from other states. So we want to make sure that, those businesses are eligible as well for that economic injury disaster loans. Okay, so let's talk about business and home loans for property damages. So when I'm speaking of physical damages and economic damages, please pay attention, because what I mentioned before is that businesses almost get like businesses are eligible for two types of loans. So the physical damages, low interest direct loans for businesses of all sizes, nonprofit, homeowners, and renters. We cannot forget about those renters. I know in Kentucky, there's been a lot of questions, SBA, the name can be kind of fool you during a disaster, but we want to make sure that you all know, your friends know, your family know that the eligibility is for renters and homeowners as well. So we provide disaster loans. It's not covered by insurance or other recovery funds to repair and replace disaster damaged or destroyed real estate, personal property, machinery and equipment, inventory, and other business assets. Now, let me go ahead and just say that for those businesses that are eligible for that physical damages, those are businesses of any size. For the economic injury loan for the working capital needs, as I described before, low interest rate loans to small businesses and most private nonprofit organizations. The economic injury disaster loans basically help you meet your working capital needs caused by the disaster. So you pay the bills as if the disaster never happened. You can pay your taxes. You don't have to have any physical damage to apply for that economic injury disaster loan, which I will refer to as EIDL. I know a lot of people from COVID is familiar with the EIDL name. So to keep it short, to keep it simple, I will say EIDL. So again, those businesses applying for the EIDL, they did not have any physical damages. You can still, you're still eligible for that EIDL portion of the SBA low interest rate loans. Okay, eligibility. I just mentioned a little bit about this. So the damaged property must be in a declared county, and that's for physical damages. Of course, those counties that are touching those primary counties, those are the only ones that are eligible. The businesses are eligible for economic injury disaster loans, the EIDL. So the damaged property has to be in a declared county. Now, if you have a secondary home, vacation home, a property that you're using for personal pleasure, boats, airplanes, houseboats, anything like that, they are not eligible unless it's used for business purposes. Okay, rental properties qualify as well. So if you're, looking through your paperwork, not sure, maybe this, I have a house and maybe the house next door to it on my property I rent out, it will be eligible since it is used for business, business purposes. Okay, credit history. Applicants must have a credit history acceptable to SBA. I'll go a little through this a little bit more later. Repayment. Applicants must show the ability to repay the SBA loan. And I will talk a little bit more about that coming up shortly. Okay, so let's talk specifics. Also, if you need me to slow down, just let me know. I don't see the chat box or anything, but my moderators will be answering questions if you have any in there. Types of loans, as I went through before, business loans. The purpose is to repair or replace real estate, inventory, equipment, and that's for physical damages. The max loan is up to $2 million. For the EIDL, small businesses and private nonprofits, working capital loans, when I say that, that just means to keep paying the bills as if this disaster never happened, up to $2 million. So that $2 million is not separately $2 million, is up to $2 million cumulative. Now, if your business is a major source of employment, SBA has the authority to waive that $2 million statutory limit. So again, if you are a factory and your major source of employment in that area, SBA can raise that $2 million to make sure that it's, that you have enough revenue and working capital to stay in business or to build back. The home loans for homeowners, we are there to repair or replace your primary residence. Now, this is for physical damages. Homeowners can receive up to $200,000 to replace or repair their primary residence. For homeowners as well, homeowners and renters repair or replace personal property up to $40,000, and that includes automobiles. It's important for me to say that because a lot of people I've been hearing, well, what about my car? A tree went down on my car, but my house was fine. But yes, that $40,000 is, up to $40,000 includes to replace automobiles as well. And that's important for renters to understand that too, because renters, they're not homeowners. The tornado, destroy their property as well. So they can receive up to that $40,000 to replace their personal property. Mitigation, I have a couple slides to go in more detail about mitigation. Very important. If you have already applied for your SBA loan in Kentucky, please look into mitigation. Talk to your loan officer. 20% of verified physical damage, homeowners limited to that $200,000, you are eligible to possibly receive mitigation funds through a loan increase. So please don't forget about that. So mitigation can be used for building a safe room, a seawall, anything that makes your structure stronger than before. And I'll talk about this later, as I mentioned. Interest rates. For businesses right now in the state of Kentucky, the interest rates are set at 2.83% for businesses, 1.875 for nonprofit private organizations, 1.438, as low as 1.438% for homeowners and renters. The terms are up to 30 years. And with this declaration, the first payment is not due until 18 months after the date you signed the promissory note. Filing deadlines are coming up on us quickly. February 10th is the deadline. FEMA sets the deadline and their deadline is February 11th. So ours is February 11th as well. And I believe February 11th is on a Friday. So we'll go on to the next slide. So there are steps to the application process. I do just want to mention that everything that you are going through right now, this three-step that I'm about to go through, and you'll receive this as well, can be used in any disaster. God forbid anything like this ever happens. This is just a tremendous declaration, and I say that from the bottom of my heart. And on behalf of Office of Disaster Assistance, me personally, I've never seen anything like this. So I just want to mention that this three-step right here, you will have this. This can be used in any disaster that you may unfortunately have to go through in the future. And the first step is for your loan application. We always say register with FEMA first. You can do that by downloading the FEMA app. Hopefully everyone has done that at this time. If you are a business owner, you can go directly to the SBA and start your SBA application. But for those, if you did already go to FEMA and register with FEMA, they will refer you to the SBA disasterassistance.gov, 1-800-621-FEMA, or you can download the FEMA app. Again, if you are a business owner, you can go directly to disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. The application process, you will receive a packet. We will need income information. Your applications will be sent to SBA's loss verification team to review. The initial determination of total physical damage is made. If necessary, SBA verifier will arrange for an in-person property inspection. You will receive communication through SBA. SBA, I just want to mention this before I forget, but SBA nor FEMA will ever ask you to pay for any of our services. So if you need to get that information out there, we are really pushing that, because unfortunately, in times of disasters, people are trying to take advantage of you. So I do want to say that if you are ever approached by a verifier through SBA or through FEMA, we will have my ID is in my car, but we will have an official ID with us. And if you are ever in doubt, ask for an email, get a business card. It will end in .gov, and we will never ask you to pay for our services. And number 3, with the SBA loan, you will be sent a loan closure and disbursement agreement. Right now, I do want to mention that in the state of Kentucky, as of this morning, we have approved a little over $28 million in approved loans. Now, that number differs by county, and we just add up all the counties to get that number. The initial disbursement will be made within 5 business days, up to the following amounts: physical damage, $25,000. Economic injury, the working capital loans, $25,000, which can be in addition to the physical damage disbursement for eligible businesses. So those businesses, your first disbursement, that physical damage and that EIDL working capital can be put into one disbursement. Okay. Why apply for SBA? I work for SBA, obviously, so I am going to tell you all the positive things. The loan terms are up to 30 years based on the ability to repay. The interest rates are fixed rate. SBA loans can help with relocation. I know a lot of the areas in Kentucky, I mean, it's just no longer there. So I do want to put that out there. Please, make sure that people know they can be used to relocate. SBA may help you with refinancing, and that's only for homeowners and businesses. So that's something that, when you apply, you can talk to your loan officer, you can talk to the customer service representatives at the DRC, that if you want to look into refinancing, you can do that as well. I did mention this before, that the administrative loan limits may be waived if the business is determined to be a major source of employment in the declared disaster area.
Hey, Tauheedah, on
Yes.
that point, what sort of, what's the limit on employees to be deemed, a major source of employment?
You know what, Kevin, I do not have that exact answer. That goes through another department of SBA. So that's something that if that company is a major source of employment, they will, I do know that they have to pass certain criteria for that, but I can get that website and link for you to have that specific information.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
I do know that there is certain criteria with the major source and how it's deemed, is it a small or is it a large, and what's that number? So there's a couple of things with that. I'll get that for you. Just remind me after this, please. Okay, a couple more benefits for the SBA disaster loan. Low interest rates, no cost to apply. Again, if anyone ever asks you to pay for an SBA application or FEMA, to register with FEMA, run away, don't do that. Pass that along to any elderly that you may know, or anybody receiving phishing emails. So we want to keep that in the forefront, because during disasters, we see it time and time again that unfortunately people are vulnerable, people are looking for answers, And then there's those people who are taking advantage of that. So I just want to make sure that I'm really getting that across clearly. There are no closing costs, no prepayment penalties. Funds are available even if insurance has not settled. Now, I have heard this from businesses that they are waiting to see what insurance may provide for them. And I always tell people, it's better to have the loan and not need it than to need it and that deadline is gone. That deadline has passed. So if you've already filed for your insurance, you don't have to wait. You can go ahead and get in that queue and start your SBA application, if that's up to you, if you would like to. But just know that we will never duplicate insurance funds. SBA is used to fill in that gap. So there's no way that we can duplicate those funds and fix something that you already received money to fix. I just want to put that out there. Again, you may be eligible for refinancing options or relocation. The terms are up to 30 years just to make the payments manageable. With the Kentucky declaration, the first payment is not due until 18 months from the date of your promissory note, your loan and security agreement. It has a date on there. You may apply for mitigation funds. I'll go through that a little bit more. The loan can be modified. Let's say if your insurance gave you a certain amount and then you applied for SBA and we approved you for a certain amount, or you thought you needed, but you didn't need, you can just say, okay, I'll take this, I don't need that. So make sure that, you know, those answers are out there for you. We are here to help, and those customer service representatives are there to speak with you at the business recovery centers. You can sit there as long as you want. You don't need an appointment. You just go and sit there and talk to them about your specific needs. And of course, there's no obligation to take the SBA loan if you're approved. Okay, collateral. Physical loans of $25,000 or less do not require collateral. Loans over $25,000 require collateral. And that's up to $50,000 unsecured disaster business loans, combined physical and economic injury loan funds. So of course, those businesses are eligible for that EIDL. SBA will not decline a loan for lack of collateral, but it does require it if it's available. So I want to make that clear. We will not decline for lack of collateral. But if it's available, you know, we will ask for that if that loan is over $25,000. Under $25,000, there's no need to submit or look for or submit collateral. Those people, the people who received SBA loans will be required to maintain and purchase flood insurance as well throughout the life of the loan. Okay, and I just spoke a little bit about this. So to protect you and the agency, we will require those applicants to obtain and maintain appropriate insurance. By law, the people who borrow money from the SBA who had damage or collateral property, if it's located in a special flood hazard area, must purchase and maintain flood insurance for the life of the loan. Okay, reasons for denial. This has been a huge topic because since we are a little bit into this declaration, now is the time that applicants are starting to receive those denial letters. I've been talking a lot about this on the news and radio and to businesses, just trying to get this information out there as clear as possible. So the first two type of denials that you will receive as a business owner, as a SBA applicant, is insufficient income. And that just means that SBA or the applicant, SBA did not see repayment ability. I have heard that it can be a simple mistake as when you're applying, you transpose a zero or leave out a zero. So the computer looks at that and says, okay, so if we're loaning $150,000, and the applicant makes $1,000 a month because they left out a zero or they left out something, that could be the case. So I always say, when you get those denial letters, take it, go into a disaster recovery center or a business recovery center and ask questions. Sit there as long as you need to, because the customer service representatives can go through your application line by line. There may be something that was missed, left out, transposed. So don't throw those letters away, and follow the reconsideration process. Another one is poor credit history. And that just says that SBA, we couldn't determine that the history of the applicant was not sufficient to be able to repay the loan as well. These are loans, so we have to take that into consideration. You do have a reconsideration, a 6 months from the date of the letter to seek reconsideration. Now, with the credit denials, there may be something that you can do to get it up a little bit to get approved. So if you can wait a little bit to be, wait a little bit to get that up. It may be just a 1, 2, 3, you're done with the credit history denial. But you do have 6 months from the date of the letter in which to seek reconsideration by a written request, additional information to help overcome the reason for the decline, and requested information like a current IRS form 4506C. The homeowners and renters declines will be referred back to FEMA for possible additional assistance. Now let's go through this pretty quickly. I have to check my time. Am I looking okay on time?
Yes, you are. You're looking fine on time.
Okay, thank you. I had to look at my phone off here. Okay, mitigation. So I spoke a little bit about this, but I really want to focus on this to make sure that those of you on the line understand what this means. So after a disaster strikes, many property owners, they want to take steps to mitigate their property. So the SBA can help you with a loan increase to cover those added costs for new building codes, required upgrades, mitigation improvements against future damages, or to increase the safety of a property, and to utilize modern and more resilient construction methods. I'm not sure what county this was in Kentucky, but a home or a structure, I see it in my head, I can't remember where it was, but I believe it was a home or a structure. And the person had people go into their safe room, and that was the only thing standing after, after everything around it was gone, built in there. I'm not sure where it was, but I see the image in my head. So that's mitigation. You can build a safe room. SBA may increase your loan up to 20% of your physical damages as verified by the SBA for mitigation purposes. So again, seawalls, safe rooms, storm shutters, stronger windows, things like that are a part of the mitigation. As I'm reading down here, sump pumps, they have more examples. French drain or retaining walls. You can elevate structures and utilities to help protect property and occupants from future damage caused by a similar disaster. The numbers of disasters each year is increasing by, but only 50% of events trigger federal assistance. Building back smarter and stronger now can be an effective recovery tool for future disasters. Unfortunately, like I said, this is just a tremendous disaster. And please, if you're a business owner, if you're a homeowner, look into that mitigation process for you. So it doesn't have to cost a fortune. Projects such as maintaining gutters can be low cost, and while getting a backup generator requires greater financial investment. SBA resource partners. So as I said at the beginning, every city, every county, every disaster, SBA resource partners, the SBDCs, the Women Business Center SCORE, they are a part of our focus stakeholders that when we get to an area, they are the first people that we reach out to. So it's a pleasure working with the Kentucky SBDC on this. And thank you all so much for allowing us to put this together and continue to get information out there regarding this Kentucky disaster. You know, everyone is still trying to build back, and we want to let you know that SBA is there to try to get your business, your homes back as whole as possible. So we are here for the long-term recovery. And I do want to just thank you as our partner, our resource partners. Thank you for that. So our resource partners, for those business owners, you know, you may have lost things in the tornado, papers are gone, you know, you may have had a safe, you may not have had a safe. So our resource partners can help reconstruct financial records, prepare financial statements, and complete SBA disaster loan applications at no cost. Provide follow-up assistance to businesses whose disaster loan applications are either approved, declined, or withdrawn, and provide management and counseling services to disaster business loan applications for that long-term recovery process, as I mentioned. And also, I do want to mention that the SBDC coaches, thank you as well, because I know you have those little sections in your group, so you're getting really in the trenches with those businesses. So thank you as well. Kentucky SBDC is ksbdc.org. And to find a local assistance near you, you can use this website at the bottom as well. Okay, so how to apply. Register with FEMA first. You'll get this as well. Disasterassistance.gov. If you are a business, you can register with FEMA first and they will refer you directly to the SBA, or you can just come to SBA first and you can obtain an application at a disaster recovery center, a business recovery center. You can call the 1-800-659-2955. And that number is staffed 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Or you can email disastercustomerservice@sba.gov. Now, these disaster recovery centers, FEMA has closed the rotating centers. So these are the permanent centers for right now. So the Bowling Green, the Old Sears Mall, Dawson Springs, Hopkins County Community Center, Earlington, Hopkins County Mike's Old Pharmacy. In Mayfield, it's 601 North 17th Street. In Princeton, Caldwell Butler Gym. The business recovery centers. Now, businesses can go into the business recovery centers, or renters, homeowners, nonprofits, anybody can go into a business recovery center that is completing an SBA application. We will not turn you away if you're a homeowner. We will not turn you away if you're a renter or nonprofit. So any SBA applicant can go into the business recovery center for help. The disaster recovery centers are, of course, set up in those locations that I just mentioned. Okay, so we can get into some questions. I'm just going to cover some of the frequently asked questions. So can a business that received a COVID-19 EIDL apply for a disaster loan under this declaration? That answer is yes. The SBA does not merge disasters. COVID-19 was a disaster in itself. This tornado is a separate disaster. So yes, you can apply for both. And the administrative loan limit for this declaration is up to $2 million for that physical and the working capital. Can a business use part of the COVID-19 loan proceeds for this declaration or other declarations? No, unfortunately, by law, those loan funds for one disaster can't be used for the next. And what is the current loan deferment period? So the SBA loans made in calendar year 2021, including the COVID-19 EIDL, will have a first payment due date extended from 12 months to that 18 months. So in the state of Kentucky, it is that 18 months from the date of the promissory note. How long do I have to apply? So businesses of all sizes, the set deadline, well, I won't say right now because the set deadline is February 10th, 2022 for SBA. FEMA does set the deadlines, and their deadline is February 11th, which is also our deadline. We just published that February 10th, but that is on a Thursday, I believe, but the deadline is February 11th because FEMA does set the deadline. Now, for those businesses who are eligible for, or nonprofit organizations who are eligible for that EIDL for this disaster, your deadline for those working capital needs is September 12th, 2022 to submit an application for that economic injury disaster loan. So again, you have a lot of time for that, but if you decide now, like, hey, I had to close down for those 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and my taxes need to be paid, my light bill needs to be paid. So you can go ahead and apply for that now, but just to put that out there, those business owners have until September 12th, 2022. So a little bit more time on that. Okay, can SBA combine 2 separate disaster loans and re-amortize the debt for a lower monthly payment? No, unfortunately, SBA is not authorized to refinance a federal obligation. So those who borrowed from the SBA, if they're experiencing financial hardship, should contact the SBA servicing office for loan deferment or other measures to mitigate financial challenges. So just understand that, we all hit hard times. COVID hit us really bad. Even if you have a COVID-19 loan, please reach out to your SBA servicing office to talk about options for your repayment plan or to defer your loan. And that's going to be a specific situation by situation. So don't hesitate to reach out to your loan servicing center for that. What happens if an application is declined? When you receive the letters, or if you receive a decline letter, you will have 6 months to request reconsideration. As I mentioned before, now is the time that applicants are starting to receive decline letters. We have been in this declaration for quite some time. So now is the time that people are starting to mail that. Don't give up. Don't give up on the process. Everybody doesn't deal with government forms every day, so it can be a little challenging, but please go into a disaster recovery center, a business recovery center to talk about your options, to go through your application line by line. I don't have the ability to pull up your application, but those customer service representatives do. They will look at your application. They will say, did you mean to put this? This is what I have for this. They'll go through it line by line and they'll talk you through that reconsideration process. Additionally, homeowners and renters, if you are denied, we will refer you back to FEMA for grant consideration. FEMA will then reevaluate your application that you submitted with them and possibly be able to offer you more consideration. Okay, so that is my time. This is a little one-sheeter about more information, sba.gov/disaster. SBA.gov will lead you to the same place. The customer service center, SBA's customer service center, 1-800-659-2955, or by email at disastercustomerservice@sba.gov. Again, for those of you on the line, I believe you will be receiving this PowerPoint presentation, or if it's recorded, you can go back and listen to this. And I do once again want to thank our resource partners. You really mean a lot to us when it's time, when we are deployed into the field with these disasters. As I mentioned, you are the first people that we talk to and get our hands in the area and get to know the area, because a lot of times we're coming from different places. So I want to thank you. Thank you for allowing us to put this on and to speak to your distribution lists and your business owners. And if there's any question that I can try to answer, I will. And I will give it back to you, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tauheedah. That is a lot of great information and in perfect timing with it being prior to the deadlines to still get some of this assistance applied for. We don't have a ton of questions right now in the chat. Everyone, if you have anything you're needing to ask, here's a perfect opportunity to go ahead and ask that if you want to put that in the chat. We do have one with an individual related to taxes and getting his 2020 tax returns. As far as I know, the IRS right now is difficult to contact. They're kind of backed up as well. Do you all have to have tax returns to submit those applications?
Well, yes. If the applicant has already filled out the application and self-certified what their income was in 2020, I'm not sure if they received a decline letter or anything like that, but after that point, you will be asked to submit a 4506C. And then from that point, we can pull your taxes from the IRS. So we can pull your transcript from the IRS. But if you're just going in to apply, don't worry about having your taxes right when you apply for the loan.
Okay. And
the come later. But if he's already I'm sorry, not he, because I don't know. So did the person already file their taxes?
I think the issue is that the SBA was not able to pull them up through the IRS for 2020. And the IRS is, there's a deadline. The IRS said 16 weeks. And so with the February 11th deadline, there's some concern there about not getting it because of the tax situation.
Don't worry about that. If you have already submitted your application, for those of you who have already submitted your application, you're already in the queue. You're already in the process. So if certain paperwork, maybe from the IRS, the 4506C, the transcripts we don't get before February 11th, you're fine. You've already applied. You're already in that process.
Okay.
So don't worry about
Greg,
that.
Greg, I hope that answered your question, but you can reach out to us directly if you have additional questions, and we can get that taken care of.
Of course.
Tauheedah, a question I had, we're seeing that, a lot of businesses may have lost sales due to some of their customers being other businesses that have been destroyed or affected in the area. Would those businesses qualify for the economic injury loan?
Absolutely. I mean, if they have lost money due to the, lost revenue due to the tornado, absolutely. I mean, that money goes to paying bills, and we want those businesses to stay in business. So absolutely, if they have lost revenue and they need to pay their bills with that revenue, yes, absolutely. And I don't want to discount anyone from saying, oh, no, you shouldn't apply because of this or that. We tell everyone, go ahead and apply. You never know. Put all of your information there, all of the paperwork that you can gather up, go into a center and speak with a customer service rep. But yes, go ahead and apply in those circumstances as well.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I am not seeing any additional questions in the chat. Do any of the panelists or other coaches have any questions for Tauheedah right now? Okay, seeing none. Well, everyone, we greatly appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much, Tauheedah and the SBA, for putting this on. Feel free to reach out. I think we may have one question coming in.
Okay. And to be clear, Kevin, will you all, I'm going to send this presentation to you in case you want to send it out to anyone that didn't get on, or send it to your distribution list of those that couldn't make it. So it's that as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. We can send that out.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. Ryan, can we unmute the attendee that has their hand raised?
Hello?
Hey, Devonna, you're we can hear you now.
Hi, how are you all?
Doing well.
Good, thank you.
Okay, I have a question, and it's kind of, I guess, just something that I want to know, because I've been looking for the information everywhere, coming to the seminars, attending the seminars online anyways, and just trying to see how similar my situation is to somebody else's. But I had heard on a webinar like last week that if you have more than one business and you have one application that has been in queue longer, then you should just withdraw the other application and let the other one remain in queue.
So you have multiple businesses,
Correct.
and a business that you put in after has basically been worked on before those other businesses?
That's correct. And now I think what happened is the system has merged those companies as affiliates. And with the document that's needed, which unfortunately the 4506T, for one of the businesses has not been, the IRS has not sent. But for my contractor, if they have everything they need as a contractor.
Do those businesses have different EIN numbers?
They do.
Okay, I will have to, because I'm not a loan officer, I will have to get back with you, but I would not withdraw any of those applications. Each application, each businesses, if they have a separate EIN number, that is a separate business. One of them may have been less complicated as the next, so it could have been that situation. But not being a loan officer, I can't look at that specific thing, but that's what it sounds like to me is if you put in one later, but it's being worked on floor, it may have been before the other ones, it may have been less complicated and a little bit quicker to get it moving. But if they have this different EIN numbers, then those are separate businesses. Don't withdraw any of those. Just let them work as they work.
Okay. That's the only question I have. And I appreciate your response. I know you don't know, but this kind of information, any insight is I'm very, very appreciative of.
Yeah, when it gets too specific, I would say, visit a DRC or a BRC, but don't withdraw any of the applications. Just let them work as they work. Like I said, one of them may have been more complicated, but and that was the fastest one. The slower ones, but if they are, just let them work how they work. And if you have any specific questions on that EIN and that business, then, ask those pertinent questions with the customer service representative.
Okay, yeah, I've been working with the loan officer.
Okay, good.
Questions.
No, you're good. They'll probably say the same thing I just said, but you're good. If you have a loan officer, you're good. You're in a good place.
Okay, well, thank you, both of you.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, thank you for your question.
Thanks. Bye.
Mhm.
And
Great question.
in closing, again, I'll just say that, the SBDC is here to help you as well as the SBA. The SBA is really these loans, these low interest loans right now. But if you need ongoing assistance with your business, getting back open, marketing, anything really related to your small business, the Small Business Development Center is here to help with that. And we, again, Tauheedah, we greatly appreciate you being on here and being available and giving this information. And if there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and end that now, but feel free to reach out to the SBA or SBDC, and hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel and we can all get through this together.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you all.